Hulk was never supposed to open that file. But once he did, everything changed. Iron Man's secret recording revealed a mission so dark, it shattered every alliance. Captain America begged them to stay silent, but the truth was too heavy. One by one, the Avengers turned on each other, not by war, but by betrayal. They lied to the world, they lied to each other, and now there's no way back. The lab smelled of metal and regret. Bruce Banner wasn't snooping. At least that's what he told himself. But the encrypted drive Stark had hidden under layers of quantum firewalls was screaming to be opened. Tony was gone. Vanished during a deep space mission with Captain Marvel 6 months ago. No distress signal. No wreckage. Just silence. Everyone grieved. Everyone moved on. Except Banner. Banner never moved on. Not after the way Tony looked at him before leaving. Almost like he wanted Bruce to find something. So now, in the belly of the old Stark lab, shut down, dusty, haunted by holograms of old projects, Bruce stood before a screen that flickered to life. Voice ID, Dr. Bruce Banner, the AI chirped. Override accepted. Retrieving classified sequence, Project Oblivion. Oblivion. He had never heard that term in any Avengers debrief. The screen shifted. A video began. Tony's face filled the screen, worn, tired, shadows under his eyes. If you're watching this, then I didn't make it back. Not because of Thanos or Kong or Doom, but because of us. Banner froze. What the hell was this? Project Oblivion was our greatest cover-up, Tony said. Something we did in 2012. Before the Battle of New York. Before the world knew who the Avengers really were. Cap, Natasha, Barton, me, even Fury. We erased a truth so dangerous, it could have ended everything before it began. The feed glitched. Static. Then Tony's face returned. And I'm sorry, Bruce. We lied to you the most. Banner's hands trembled. His pulse spiked. The beast inside stirred. Flashback, 2012. SHIELD HQ, classified subbasement. Tony, Cap, Fury, and Black Widow stood over a restrained alien body. Not Chitauri. Not Skrull. Something else. Its skin shimmered between forms. Its eyes pulsed like dying stars. We can't let this get out, Fury growled. It mimics us, Widow whispered. Perfectly. Voices. Faces. Powers. Then we bury it, Cap said coldly. We never mention this again. What about Banner? Tony asked. He's too unstable, Cap replied. He doesn't get to vote. They turned and left. The chamber sealed. And the creature watched. Present day. Banner staggered back from the screen. They found an alien mimic in 2012. And hid it for me? From everyone? How many of us were real after that? Then came the worst part. The video continued. We thought we buried it. But the mimic escaped in 2014 and took someone with it. Bruce, one of us was replaced. Maybe more than one. I started digging. That's why they're coming for me. I tried to tell Rogers. I tried to warn Fury. But no one wanted to listen. Except you. You were always the scientist. The one who asked why. Now it's your turn to ask the right question. Who's not who they say they are? The screen went black. Banner's breath came in shallow gasps. His fists clenched. A mimic. Replaced one of them. Could it be Barton? He had changed after Budapest. Could it be Natasha? She disappeared in strange missions before her death. No, what if it was someone still alive? Someone still on the council? Captain America? Thor? A loud clang echoed from the lab hallway. Banner whipped around. A red light blinked above the sealed entrance. Unauthorized breach. He activated Stark's last defense, a cloaking shield, and ducked behind a containment column. Footsteps. Heavy ones. Then a voice. Bruce, it said calmly. It was Steve Rogers. But something was off. His walk was too smooth. His expression too calm. No shield. No gear. Just Steve. Alone. We need to talk, Steve said. I know what you saw. Banner's blood turned to ice. How? Unless. He's not Steve. The Hulk growled deep inside. Waiting for the signal. You're not him, Banner said softly. Steve's eyes flicked toward the screen. That was supposed to be deleted. Who are you? Banner demanded. Steve tilted his head, a mimic movement. I'm here to keep the lie alive. You replaced him. I became him. Better than the original. Controlled. Predictable. Useful. Banner roared. His skin began to ripple green. You made a mistake coming here. No, Bruce, fake Steve said. You did. An explosion ripped through the lab wall. Banner went flying, crashing through tables, tech, and steel. Smoke filled the air. Red lights blared. Through the fire, a second figure walked in, tall, silver skin, faceless. Another mimic. They had sent two. This wasn't an accident. It was an execution. The Hulk tore through his skin. The beast emerged. But the mimics didn't flinch. Terminate him, fake Steve ordered. But before the mimic could strike, a repulsor blast lit up the room. Boom. The mimic staggered back, smoking hole in its side. A shadow stood in the doorway. Glowing red chest. Familiar stance. Banner's jaw dropped. Tony. Not quite, said the man. Let's just say, I'm what's left of him. Stark's ghost and the Council of Replacements. The man in the doorway looked exactly like Tony Stark, but there was something wrong. His eyes glowed faintly red, almost like an AI interface was running beneath the surface. The chest piece was more advanced than any arc reactor Banner had ever seen, thinner, quieter, but pulsing with immense energy. The mimic Steve lunged at him, but Stark's ghost wasn't just standing there for drama. His right hand transformed into a plasma blade mid-motion, and with surgical precision, he slashed across the mimic's abdomen. The creature shrieked, not in pain, but in glitching distortion, like a corrupted video signal twisting out of sync. The mimic melted into itself and vanished in a blink of red mist. The other mimic, the faceless one, backed away. No need to run, Tony said calmly. I've already tagged you with a quantum tracker. We'll talk again soon. The mimic hissed and disappeared through the broken ceiling in a blur of silver. The lab was silent again, smoke still trailing from the damaged walls. Hulk stood firm, shoulders heaving, fists clenched, eyes locked on the half-human Tony standing before him. I know, Tony said. It's a lot. Are you real? Hulk grunted, barely controlling his rage. Define real, Tony smirked, stepping forward. I died, but I left pieces. AI fragments, deep neural imprints, fallback versions. You know how paranoid I was. This is one of them. Version 46.7b, Tony said. The last one with enough emotion to still care. The others? Cold. Logic-driven. They would have nuked the entire council the moment they activated. I'm the balanced one. Banner shifted back into Bruce, clothes torn and skin steaming. He still didn't trust what he was seeing. So you're saying the council knew? Tony nodded. Not only did they know, they're running it. What is it? Tony walked over to the console and pulled up a hologram. A star map unfolded across the room. Planets, systems, alien markers, all converging toward Earth. After the Mimic incident in 2012, we found a deeper truth. The Mimic wasn't a rogue. It was a scout, testing humanity, evaluating who among us could be replaced without anyone noticing. Why? Tony zoomed in on Earth. Because the council wanted influence. Earth was getting too powerful, too unpredictable. Our heroes were becoming gods, and the gods were becoming problems. You're saying they infiltrated the Avengers? They did more than infiltrate, Tony said grimly. They built replacements. Alien biosleeves with injected memories. They could control, manipulate, and even turn us against each other. Bruce's mouth went dry. And no one noticed? Not until now. Tony pointed to a blinking red dot on the map. That's the current location of one of the sleeper agents, embedded in a hero team operating out of Europe. They think they're real, but they're not. Bruce stepped forward. And you think we can stop this? I think we already missed our chance to stop it, Tony said. But maybe we can break it. A screen lit up with another video. This time, it wasn't Tony, it was Thor. Standing in what looked like a war room on Asgard. He was angry, roaring, hammer sparking. What is this? A memory backup pulled from Stormbreaker's core, Tony said. You're not the only one who leaves secrets behind. The footage showed Thor arguing with Odin, or someone who looked like Odin. They are deceivers, Thor shouted. They mimic the honored. They have taken Freya's form. The other figure changed. The Odin illusion flickered, revealing a mimic creature hidden in golden robes. Thor hurled Mjolnir straight through its chest. The being collapsed, eyes flickering, before it screamed in a strange, multi-pitched voice. "Tell your council," Thor growled. "Asgard will never kneel." The feed cut. "They were in Asgard too?" Bruce whispered. "They've been everywhere," Tony said. "Every kingdom, every council, every team. And no one ever said anything?" "They erased those who did," Tony replied. "Freya was real. The version Thor saw? A clone. Thor killed her. The real one had already been executed. He still doesn't know." Bruce felt sick. "So what now?" "We don't expose them," Tony said. Bruce blinked. "What?" "If we expose them, they vanish. Shapeshift. Leave no trace. We lose all leverage." "No. We infiltrate back." "You mean?" "We plant someone inside their ranks." "Who?" Tony turned to him. "You." Bruce stepped back. "No. I'm not a spy. I'm not a liar. You're a scientist. And right now, science is all we've got." A screen displayed a transmission. Intercepted. It was Captain Marvel, speaking with someone in a dark chamber. "They suspect," she said. "Then accelerate the plan," the voice replied. Carol Danvers nodded. "And what about Banner?" "Contain him," the voice said. "Or replace him." Bruce's heart dropped. "She's working with them?" "Not the Carol you know," Tony said. "I ran retinal comparisons. Voice analysis. She was switched 4 months ago. Deep space mission. Perfect opportunity. How many have they replaced?" Tony's face hardened. "Too many." Suddenly, the ceiling trembled. Alarms flashed. "They found us," Tony said. Bruce's eyes turned green. "Then let them come." Above the lab, a sleek alien dropship sliced through the clouds. Silver armor, red glowing panels. Inside, 6 beings prepared for combat, all wearing faces of Earth's mightiest. Fake Falcon, fake Ant-Man, fake Scarlet Witch. But one face stood out. Black Widow. She was supposed to be dead. She smiled at the others. "Let's clean up the past." On the ground, Tony activated a hidden chamber. A metallic pod rose from the floor. Inside, a suit unlike any other. Not red and gold, but black and white. Smooth, flexible, built with anti-mimic tech. "For you," he said. "Prototype. I call it Oblivion Armor." Bruce hesitated. "What happens if I lose myself?" Tony handed him a trigger chip. "Then press this. It activates the self-destruct." "You built a bomb into the suit." "No," Tony said. "I build a bomb into you. Just in case." Bruce stared at him. "I trust you," Tony said. "But they'll come for your mind. Your memories. Your rage. I need to know there's a way out." Bruce nodded. "Let's give them a reason to fear us." Tony smirked. "Welcome to the Resistance." The widow that wasn't. The sky above New York cracked open as the alien dropship descended, silent as a whisper, but deadly as a guillotine. The city didn't know it yet, but war had already begun, not between worlds, but between faces. Familiar ones. Trusted ones. Duplicates. In Stark's hidden bunker, Bruce Banner stood suited in the new Oblivion armor, a nanotech exoskin that shimmered with kinetic pulses and neural dampeners. It was cool against his skin, but the anger boiling underneath was anything but calm. Tony's AI projection hovered beside him, flickering as energy diverted to external defenses. "We've got 5 inbound targets. Mimic class. Level 7 deception nodes. They'll look like friends, maybe even feel like them, but they're not." Banner nodded, jaw clenched. "Can we hold them?" Tony smirked faintly. "We don't need to hold them. We need to send a message." A low rumble shook the floor. Banner turned as the reinforced ceiling split open. They were here. The first to drop down was Falcon, or something that wore his wings. He looked exactly like Sam Wilson, same smile, same posture, but when he spoke, his voice echoed wrong, like metal scraping against metal. "Banner, step aside, or be replaced." Bruce didn't answer. He just charged. The suit responded instantly, absorbing impact, enhancing strength, amplifying focus. Bruce wasn't Hulk right now. He didn't need to be. The punch shattered the mimic falcon's jaw and sent him slamming into a pillar. Sparks burst from his chest as his disguise glitched. Next came Ant-Man, or the Thing, using his tech. It shrunk, darted, tried to crawl into Bruce's armor seams. Big mistake. Oblivion armor deployed internal EMP bursts. The mimic screeched and exploded mid-air, collapsing into twitching fragments of liquid metal. 2 down. Then she dropped. Black Widow. Bruce froze. She looked perfect. Red hair, tied back. Combat stance flawless. Her eyes met his, and for a moment, hope flickered inside him. Nat. She tilted her head. Poor Bruce, she said softly. Still looking for ghosts. He stepped forward, unsure. His voice cracked. You died. I came back. No, you didn't. She smiled, cruel, sharp, empty. That's the point. She moved like a viper. A blur of red electricity crackled around her hands. Widow's bites, modified with mimic tech. She struck Bruce in the chest, sending him flying into the far wall. The suit protected him, but barely. Systems rebooted midair. She was fast. Too fast. I don't want to hurt you, Bruce said. But I do, she replied. They clashed again, a blur of fists, flips, shockwaves. Bruce was losing. Not because she was stronger, but because she felt real. The mimic had copied her perfectly. Her fighting style, her voice, her scent. It was like punching a memory. And Bruce's heart couldn't take it. Elsewhere, outside the bunker, another conflict exploded. A figure landed on the dropship, cracking its surface. Thor. But even he paused when he saw who exited next. Scarlet Witch. Or rather, her mimic. Wanda. Thor said cautiously. She floated above him, her eyes glowing red, but not her usual chaos magic. This was mimic tech, powered by fear and illusion. You know it's not me, she said with Wanda's voice. But it's enough, isn't it? Thor gripped Stormbreaker tighter. You defile her image. I am what she could have been, she replied, and with a twist of her wrist, turned the dropship into a vortex of spinning blades. Thor hurled his axe. It sliced through the illusion, and Wanda vanished in a pulse of light. Back in the lab, Bruce was down. Widow stood over him, her fake eyes filled with artificial sorrow. You are always the gentle one, she whispered. Too soft for this war. Bruce coughed blood. You copied her, but not well enough. He tapped his chest. Boom. A shockwave exploded outward, a blast of mimic disruptor energy Tony had embedded into the suit. Widow screamed as her body convulsed, glitching, limbs stretching into alien sinew. She wasn't real. She never was. Bruce stood over her collapsing form. Goodbye, Nat. Tony's voice crackled through. They're falling back. But not for long. Bruce panted. How many more? At least 6 active mimic agents still embedded in Earth's defense systems. One is already on the council. Bruce's eyes narrowed. Who? Tony hesitated, then spoke. Steve Rogers. Bruce's knees almost buckled. You're sure? I scanned his DNA last year. Triple match inconsistencies. Mimic tissue. Banner's heart sank. If the world finds out. Tony nodded grimly. The Avengers die. Trust dies. Everything dies. Bruce looked at his hands. They lied to us all. Tony's voice was cold now. Time to return the favor. The shield cracks. The council chamber was designed to be the safest place on Earth. Walls of vibranium-laced alloys. AI surveillance in every corner. And seated at the center, the remaining minds behind Earth's defenses. Captain America sat quietly, hands folded, eyes locked on the hologram of global unrest. Small rebellions, political confusion, systems breaking down. Chaos was spreading, and the Avengers were nowhere in sight. That's when the floor trembled. The ceiling rippled. And Bruce Banner dropped from above like thunder. He didn't roar. He didn't punch. He just looked Steve in the eyes. We need to talk. The others in the room, Wakandan envoys, space defense leads, even Dr. Strange, stood up. Tension flooded the chamber. Steve remained seated. "Bruce," he said. Calm. Measured. "Perfect. Too perfect." "You've been avoiding me," Bruce said. "Ever since the attack at the lab." "You were compromised," Steve replied. "We couldn't risk." "You knew." Bruce stepped forward. His armor pulsed beneath his skin. "You've known since 2014. Maybe longer. That one of us, maybe you, isn't real." "I am who I've always been," Steve said. "Then bleed," Bruce growled. The room fell silent. Steve stood up. "Excuse me." "Cut your hand," Bruce said. "Bleed. Right here. Right now. Prove it." Steve looked around the chamber. Several council members exchanged nervous glances. "No one questions Captain America," one of them muttered. "I do," Bruce replied. "Because I've seen the files. The scans. The recordings. And you, Steve, you stopped making sense years ago." Tony's AI flickered into the room, hovering above the table. "Backup online," he announced. "And before anyone calls this treason, let me remind you, mimics don't age. Don't scar. Don't sleep." Bruce pointed at Steve. "This man, if he is a man, hasn't bled since Sokovia." Steve's jaw clenched. "You're paranoid," he said. "No," Bruce said, his voice like steel. "I'm awake." He slammed a capsule onto the table. It cracked open and released a hologram. Tony's original Oblivion protocol. Footage played. The mimic discovered in 2012. The replacement operation. The orders to silence dissenters. And worst of all, a blurred clip of Steve shaking hands with a mimic commander. The chamber erupted. "Is this real? This is deepfake." "He's lying." But Dr. Strange narrowed his eyes. "Play that again." Bruce rewound it. Zoomed in. This time, Strange's hand glowed as he muttered a spell, a truth-weaving enchantment. The illusion shimmered, and Steve's handshake turned into a data transfer. Mimic particles moving from his palm to the creature's chest. Bruce's heart cracked. "I trusted you." Steve's face glitched just for a second. A ripple of silver beneath the skin. The truth dropped like a bomb. "You're not Steve Rogers," Strange said softly. Fake Steve's smile disappeared. "No," the mimic said, shedding the disguise like a peeling mask. "Steve Rogers died in 2016, on a covert mission. No one ever questioned his return. Why would they? He was their symbol." The mimic stood fully exposed now, half human, half alien, its body adapting to match the lighting, the voices, the room itself. "You made it easy," it hissed. Bruce lunged, but too late. The mimic slammed its palm into the ground and triggered a neural pulse, knocking everyone to their knees. Strange summoned his shield. The others scrambled. Lights flickered, and above them, the hologram of Earth turned red. The mimic stepped over Bruce's twitching body. "You think you've won something by exposing me?" it said. "The council was already compromised. The replacements aren't just here. They're in every major decision-making seat on this planet." Tony's AI glitched, but pushed a message to Bruce's HUD. "Activate fallback." Bruce reached into his gauntlet and tapped twice. The ceiling exploded. Thunder crackled. Wind howled. Thor dropped through the opening, eyes white with lightning, hammer charged like a star. "Which one dies first?" he roared. The mimic didn't hesitate. It charged, a blur of chaos and mimicry. But this time, Earth wasn't caught sleeping. This time, gods were watching. The fall and the fire. The council chamber was in ruins. Chairs shattered, consoles burning, walls cracked like broken trust. Thor stood over the mimic's twitching body, Stormbreaker embedded in its spine. Lightning still flickered in his eyes, but behind the fury was something colder. Disgust. Bruce leaned against a crumbling pillar, armor sparking. His face was cut, bleeding, something real. Unlike the thing they had just killed. Tony's AI hovered above the corpse. Cellular decay confirms mimic species. This one's dead. Bruce exhaled, finally. But it wasn't relief. It was grief. That wasn't just a replacement, he said. That was our leader. Not just yours, said a voice behind them. Nick Fury. He stepped into the wreckage, eye cold, trench coat torn. I always suspected, he muttered. The orders stopped sounding like Steve, started sounding like someone else. Bruce looked up at him. How long? Fury didn't flinch. Too long. He tossed a data stick at Bruce's feet. Here's the rest of it. Locations, names, plans. Every mimic we know of, every agent we don't. Bruce stared at it. Burn it, Fury said. Or use it. But once it's out, there's no Avengers left. Only war. By nightfall, the footage of the Council confrontation was everywhere. The real Captain America's autopsy files. The mimics' last moments. Stark's confession. Banner's speech. They lied to us all. They wore the faces of our heroes. They used our trust as a weapon. And we let them. But that ends now. Hashtags flooded global feeds. Hashtag mimic war. Hashtag who can you trust? Hashtag Avengers no more. Protests erupted. Statues of heroes were torn down. The world that once worshipped its protectors was now terrified of their replacements. In the quiet of a dark bunker, Bruce sat alone. Suit off. Bloodied. Broken. Tony's AI flickered beside him. We stopped one invasion, it said. But not the next. Bruce looked up. What do we do now? Tony paused. We start over. Not as Avengers. Not as gods. Bruce nodded slowly. As humans. Fade out. The end. For now,